My brothers and sisters, calm down. People of color, my black people, calm down regarding the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad that was supposedly Nazi propaganda laced in there subconsciously somehow because of the jeans thing. You look, man, you do us no real service, right? And I'm talking about the extreme woke, extreme left, if you will, the left or whatever. People like Mark Lamont Hill, who went on Piers Morgan and was all up in his feelings before the show even started. He was scowling and making the face like the angry black man that was going to represent us all and keep it real because this Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad was aimed at black people and people of color. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, people. You set us back. You set us back from any real progress that we make when you nitpick every tiny little thing and try to find some racist undertone in it. Now, I am not going to be the black man who sits here and tells you that, yeah, there's plenty of racism to be found when you look around. There's plenty of it on the surface. We don't need to dig so deep to find it. If you are going to make this ad and make Sydney Sweeney, an American Eagle, the enemy, I got to wonder what you're doing with your life. I have to wonder what you're thinking. I watched this episode. You know, I saw the whole thing. I heard about it. It was maybe, a couple days. This is Wednesday. I think this was Monday or so with this ad. And this whole thing came out. I scrolled through my feed and I happened to see a young woman, young black woman, young sister who I admire. You know, she's intellectually just incredible. And she's also really just insightful, and she's engaged in politics and the movement and a lot of our culture and history. Incredible. And she was signaling the alarm as if this was, I think she used the words, this is one of the four horsemen. And she was deeply disturbed by this because of the eugenics implications. And I'm like, I don't see it. I'm sorry, people. I don't see it. It was a white woman in an ad for jeans, and she's a good-looking white woman in jeans, and she's got good genes. She was born with good genes. They played the words up. Let me explain something to you. And this is one of the comments I put on Piers Morgan's thing when I saw Mark Lamont Hill all up in his panties over this. In order for it to be considered a shot across the bow against people who are not blonde and blue-eyed, you would have to have a control there. You would have to have some contrasting thing to compare against. They would have to use something like the best genes, or these genes are better than all other genes. Like, if you start doing that, that's where it becomes a problem. That's where you could probably make the case that they're suggesting through the visual imagery and through the use of a blonde hair, blue-eyed white woman of a certain size, that that's the better genes. And if you think about it from a marketing standpoint, they could have made that mistake because they could have tried to suggest that their genes are better than everyone else's genes. Our genes, we make better genes than everyone else, right? That would have been pushing the eugenics thing. If they actually came out and said something along the lines of the best genes or our genes are better, that would have been something you could probably read into. I'm not saying even then it would be 100% this Nazi propaganda eugenics thing, but I can see the argument being made there because you are specifically referencing and suggesting that this particular gene, these genes, as is, in this case, a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, are better than others. All they said is good genes. She's got good genes. She does have good genes. Guess who else has good genes? Beyonce, Rihanna, Halle Berry, Jodie Turner-Smith, one of my favorites right now. Lupita Nyong'o has great genes. Did I say Naomi Campbell? Monica Bellucci? Margot Robbie has incredible genes, right? Do you want to keep going? I can go through tons of white women, Asian women, Latinas. Sofia Vergara's got great genes. Salma Hayek, great genes. Okay, Zoe Saldana, great genes. Tons of people have great genes, good genes. We're stuck in this thing with, if it's not, if it's not black, Latino, or overweight, or gay, or trans, that somehow we're doing something against these people, right? And it's gone way too far. This whole woke thing of, if I'm not represented here, somehow you're offending me. That is nonsense. I've talked about this with people before when it comes to like the trans and gay thing, right? I support the whole LGBTQ, XYZ, whatever it is. I support everyone's right to do whatever you like. Doesn't mean that I have to want to teach my 5-year-old about transgenderism. Right? I don't need to teach that at that age. Maybe at some point when it's appropriate, sure, no problem. They should know about the world, just like a bunch of other things, right? I support gay people. Gay men want to be gay. I don't care who you love, who you like, who you sleep with. But the problem has become, you can sit there, you can march with, you can stand for, you can show your support and show your love for people. But in this particular example, if you're not taking it, or you're not becoming a bottom or a top, or you're not sucking a you know what, well, then you don't really support me. No, I support you and you're right to do what you want. I don't need to suck up in order to do that though, right? And that's where they've gone. It's like, if you don't do that, then that means you don't support us. Not true. Not true. This whole thing with diversity, and I'm really going to get this off my chest because I've been meaning to talk about this, and I think I mentioned this somewhat last year when there was like a Miss Universe and she was blonde and blue-eyed, which I was actually quite happy to see, right? I'm going to get this off my chest again, though. Every TV commercial right now is either a black man with a Latino, a black man with a blonde girl, or it's a black woman with a white man, or it's the Latino. Like, everyone's got to be mixed. The children have to be mixed. Everything's got to be mixed. I get it. We needed much more diversity in media. We needed it in commercials and in marketing. We needed it in Hollywood. I get it. We should be represented as a country that we are, a country of immigrants, a country of black, brown people. We don't need to do the numbers and figure out, well, this percentage is more. We just needed to slightly correct the fact that for years, for a very long time, the image of whiteness was considered better. So much to the point that we had black people back in the 50s, even before then, straightening their hair, conking their hair because that hair was better. We had people lightening their skin because that was better. I think we've gotten past that at this point. I'm not suggesting, again, that racism's dead. It's over. We're all equal now and everything's fixed and everything's perfect and the white people have done right by us. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we've come a very, 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 very long way. And we've somewhat, to a certain degree, I'm going to say over the last 10 years, we have overcorrected. Why can't I just see a commercial with a Nordic-looking, Swedish, Finnish-looking couple with blonde hair and blue eyes with their two blonde, blue-eyed children running around and doing a commercial for whatever random stupid drug the pharma industry is pushing on us lately? Why can't I see that commercial? Why can't I see a Snickers commercial or a commercial for some home improvement situation where you've got a blonde couple, a blonde man and a blonde woman? Or why not just two black people? Why can't I see a dark-skinned black man and a dark-skinned black woman with their dark-skinned children, beautiful features, right? Why can I not see that? Why do I have to see well, if it's going to be black, it's got to be dark or it's got to be light-skinned and the kids have to be mixed and their hair has to be curly? Why? I want to see some afros. I want to see some dark-skinned, beautiful people as a family, because you know what? That actually exists. Yes, we have light-skinned people. Yes, we have mixed-race couples. We have tons of stuff going on, and we should see that. But we don't need to oversaturate the airwaves when every single commercial, every single ad has got to be a thick woman, a trans woman, a black woman who's 400 pounds overweight. We can't have, it's just getting ridiculous. And this latest thing with Sydney Sweeney, it's just adding to the whole ridiculousness of, we have to pick better fights. There are far more important things happening, more significant things happening in this country, between our administration, between all the things to come, what's happening. I'm watching stuff on X. I saw a white man and his wife get beat down in Cincinnati at a jazz festival. Mind you, he put hands up first, but there was no reason for a gang of black people to beat this man's ass and to knock him and his wife out. That was horrible. Yet it fired up and inspired a whole bunch of radical white boys who now feel that the black man is the enemy against the white man in America. We're headed for race wars. We have terrible race relations, and God knows what's going to take place in this country based off of that. Even Alex Jones was on there talking about the black man being the enemy, a threat. People talking about getting their guns. Really? Really, the black man is the biggest threat against white people? I'm sorry, again, another episode. But my larger point is, we cannot continue to make it so that white people who celebrate themselves, in other words, Sydney Sweeney, or anyone who likes her type, and any white man who feels proud looking at that commercial and feeling like, yeah, she does have good genes, she's beautiful. That doesn't mean that the guy is saying that black women are disgusting and ugly. No one's saying that. It's the same thing as saying a woman who's thick and proud. That does not mean that a woman who's fit and in shape is ugly or no good. It doesn't mean in the opposite. If Naomi Campbell doesn't add, or Beyonce doesn't add, good Lord, talk about good genes, right? Beyonce does a Levi's commercial in the laundromat. Oh my God, I'm having flashbacks to just watching that commercial for the first time. But the point I'm making, that doesn't mean that a white woman doing the same commercial or with a different body, a larger body or a smaller body than Beyonce's, it doesn't mean anything. It just means in this moment, there are different types of people. We don't need to continue doing this. We're going down a very dangerous path. This is a ridiculous thing to get up in panties over and to get all flustered and out of place and make a racial thing. You want to find some racial shit to get upset about? Trust me, go through X, go through there and look, and you can find plenty of things that are definitely worth giving attention to, that are definitely brewing under the surface. But an ad, a jeans ad with a white girl in it, should not stir up the ire of every single black political pundit, and everyone's got something to say, influencer on YouTube. Again, I bring up Mark Lamont Hill because he's the one that I actually saw really going in on it. And then the other sister I saw on Instagram, I forgot her name. But like, really, people? This is what you're arguing? It's almost embarrassing. It was embarrassing to watch Mark Lamont Hill discuss this because he had 0 points. And this is an intellectual brother, right? He's got a reasonable amount of intellect, but sometimes he totally abandons it in favor of like trying to be the pro-black man who's fighting for everybody, who's got a real voice out there. I don't know how he stays relevant. I'm not really sure, but I found it to be embarrassing that he made a case for this. So with all of that said, people, get over it. Get over it. It was a white woman in jeans. She's a good-looking white woman. Trust me, if I wasn't married, I'd get with that in a heartbeat. Why would I not? Same way I'd get with plenty of other women that could do that ad. One does not mean the other. Just because they think that she's got good genes, which she does have good genes. She does have good genes. Get over it. Get over it. I'm done. Comment below if you disagree. Comment if you think that I have this all twisted and I'm the one that's in need of a lecture from somebody. Let me know below in the comments. Like the video on the way out or not. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.